in the first place. What do you want to say up to
Wow.
that? Yeah.
That aspect of gender-based violence, whether it's harassment or actual, exploitation, whatever it is unfortunate, because we see it happening even at the highest levels in the corporate space and other aspects. Now, on prevention, and this is the trickier part, is what I'd advise. Maybe let me talk about if it happens fast. I know sometimes this is at your own detriment as a woman, because this is a job either you want really badly or have really had to get into, and then you're experiencing harassment, unwanted advancements, or you find yourself in a situation where you're really backed up against the corner. Do not be afraid to report and to voice this particular aspect, because this will happen to you, it will happen to somebody else, and somebody else will be a recurring and perpetuated culture that will never end. And so if it means, and this is going to need you to be really bold, if it means you taking the stand and maybe bearing the brunt, but having such people pay the price, then I think it's worth the cost. That's a very radical thing to say, I know, but it comes down to that. I don't think there's any other way. And so one of the things that at AWIC we are fighting for is to be able to mainstream safe workspaces for women, whether it's at mine sites, down in rural areas, or even within the office, or within the communities that we live in, just to make sure that these aspects are being voiced and are being reported. And if it's, abuse that actually takes place, then report these issues to the relevant authority. However, I'll speak to a different side, and this might sort of be controversial because we've experienced it, for instance, here in Kenya, where we had very high rising level of femicide. But I will encourage also all women and young women, sometimes depending on the environment you're in, you are your first, um, you know, sister's keeper. You are, you need to be able to make sure that you are in a safe space. So, these drinks with colleagues that people sometimes, you get invited to, we need to interact and we need to network. But anytime you're able to sense that this could be more than, just, an opportunity to network, then I'll encourage us to, stay away from such spaces. And we were in a breakfast with women leaders in the sector, and they said, these guys go golfing and they go for cocktails in the evening. But some women have to stay away because they know about what goes on in such events where, male colleague takes the opportunity and, blame the alcohol to behave inappropriately or inappropriately with you, or to touch you inappropriately. So I think it's also avoiding spaces where there's prevalence of, or opportunities where someone can take advantage of, of us. But ultimately, even in such a situation, then don't shy away from reporting. And I know there's normal terms of, oh, maybe you call this upon yourself. And, we hear about all these things that women get told as victims of violence, and yet that's not the case. So hardline report to the highest level possible. And if it's abuse, then this needs to be, it's a crime. But also we take care of ourselves by avoiding any situations that could put us in a vulnerable state where abuse or, or violence can be meted against us. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks very much to that. You should